Welcome back, ladies and gents. Again, jumping back into the project. What's this episode? God knows what now. I can't even remember. Come armed with the go-go juice once again. Now, I always forget to tell people what this is. And obviously, there's new people watching every time I post a video. So, just to recap, Mk5 Escort shell with a Audi S3 floor pan. We've come a long way. A very, very long way so far, to be fair. We've managed to get all of that done and various other bits. I'm not going to walk through all of it because it will bore you to death, so just go back and watch some videos if you're new and you quite fancy fabrication stuff from an idiot that don't know what he's doing. But I'm going to start this episode with something completely different. The guys at Mk5 Rods a couple of months ago sent me this turbo out. Now this is a GT, what is it? Let's have a look. GT 3582. Now, like I say, they sent me out this a couple of months ago, and the plan was I was going to chuck this on my van and turn the boost up, do a video and blah blah blah. But then, like an idiot, didn't check the oil in my van, blew it up. So I've had this thing sitting around for a couple of months now. The guys want a video, and I'm kind of at a loose end of what to do. So my proposal is, if you've got a car that's got a somewhat similar setup to this, with a T4 flange and a 4-bolt exhaust flange, and fancy having a play with a Mk5 Rods turbo, I'm happy to give you this turbo on the basis that you come down to Eastbourne and we'll fit it on camera and then maybe just have a little drive up the road or something, I don't know. But let us know what you think. If you're interested in that, drop a comment below in the comment section and we'll have a chat and then see what we can work out. But like I say, I'm happy to give this to someone. It's a nice little thing, to be fair. So I won't go into too much detail about the specs. I'll leave that until we actually do a video on it. But yeah, get in touch if you fancy a free turbo. Could be a result. Right, moving on, because I'm already waffling way too much. Don't really know what to tackle next on this, if I'm completely honest. Obviously we've done this bit here last, which come out pretty well. I still need to go back and fix that, but I can't really be asked to do that at the moment. So what I'm thinking is do this. So I've already done this bit once before and filled in all down there, but what I'm thinking is take that out and make it more like that, because that just looks way better. I need to get rid of all this nonsense here anyway, so I might as well just replicate that side so it's symmetrical and looks decent. So yeah, right, I think that's the plan. I'm going to shut up waffling and we're just going to crack on and do something, see what happens. Absolute carnage, but we are there, guys and girls. I had to do this bit on my own without the camera on, because I had to have some strong words with this, with a big hammer and a grinder, because it was putting up a decent fight. This side, that side, when I took all that apart, weren't too bad. This side, bastard. And that is all my scrap pile from here. I do still need to clean up round here. I couldn't get my drill in, so I've had to basically smash the living daylights out of it with a hammer and chisel, which has obviously left where all the spot welds are, so I need to grind them back at some point. And it doesn't help that I've got my bolt going through here that holds the car to the rollover jig. But it's super late now. I'm going to have a quick tidy up and I'm going to venture off home, and I'll pick you guys up, I don't know, Saturday or something. See you then. Oh well, I got a bit carried away. Fully cleaned this out now, ground back everywhere I needed to grind back, and tackled all this area down here. And now we're on to that. So I have, like I say, got carried away. I've already started templating. So first step, I need to get that piece in there to bridge the gap between the boot floor and the back panel of the Escort. And then, give me a sec and I shall place all these in and show you what that looks like. And that is everything in place. Now this side's been a hell of a lot easier because I haven't had to try and get around this situation like I had to over there. This side's a lot more clear because of the fuel filler neck hole, which has opened up this whole area, which is a bit of a result by all accounts. Right, next step then is pull this little lot out and trace it all out onto some steel. Get the grinder out and make some noise. Let's do it. Bloody useless at filming last night, got a bit sidetracked. We've now got a couple of new lights, so hopefully the lighting in this area might be a little bit more improved. You'll have to let us know on that one. Where are we with this? We are pretty much ready to weld this in now. I've punched out all my holes for plug welding, filled in a couple of holes that I had left over down here in the floor pan where that section used to come up. So now we are very much at the point of where we can weld this in. So I'm going to fire up the trusty welder, we'll get all this made in and we can move on to something else. Bit of YouTube magic later and we're there. This corner's now done and I'm definitely happy that I cut out that weird piece that was there and done it like the other side. Definitely looks better now. So yeah, pretty happy with that. But now that's done, we need to move on to something else, and I'm thinking I might do this bit here. Trouble being is that I need to cut my arches out at some point for a wide arch, and I don't know if I'm going to end up having to cut out down here and potentially cut out some of what I'm going to be replacing, so I'm not too sure if it's worth me doing that yet. Not only that, but I need to replace this fuel filler neck The panel I can buy, repair panel, I don't know if it's only across there or if it comes up to the top here as well. So I need to look on eBay in a minute, see what that comes with, and decide whether or not I'm going to do that shortly. But whilst I'm doing that, I think we will get on with this bit. Now obviously this is the panel I cut out, floor section, but it did still have a little bit of rot in it, so I need to template that, cut that rotten bit out, replace that, and then we can potentially move on to that bit afterwards if I decide what I'm doing. But got a question for you guys, hopefully you can give me some recommendations. I need some belts for my finger file sander thingy-mabob. I think they're 457 by 13mm. Now these blue ones seem to rip, they're really good, but the ones I bought the other day, these things, although they say they're for metal, they don't really do a great deal, and it takes forever trying to sand anything back. So any recommendations on some really good belts for this file sander, drop them in the comment section below, and hopefully it saved me a bit of time when I'm trying to sand down all the spot welds and whatnot. Right, anyway, waffle, spin the car over and we'll get templating. Well, this is the new piece that I've just cut out. Now I've marked the top just so I can keep the orientation in the right place, and I just thought I'll try and beat it over what's already there just to give myself a general gist of the shape that I need. And in all honesty, I'm not actually far off where I need to be with this already, just from beating it over the actual floor pan. Just need to go around this bottom edge here. I think I'm gonna have to get the shrinker out, just shrink that down ever so slightly and put a bit more of a curve on that, and the same again here. I think I'm just gonna have to shrink that ever so slightly, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna be far off of this, to be honest. Yeah, right, get the shrinker out and we'll see what we can do with that. Right then, that is more or less it. Hard trying to show you, it is virtually where I need it to be. So what I need to do now is mark out the hole that I need to cut out, like that. Mark around the sides, and then we can cut the rotten bit out, place that in, and then hopefully this back floor pan section will be fully rot free. Let's do it. Looking good, folks, looking good. That is officially done. Right, completely off topic now. We need to do a different project. I've just tried moving the car this way a little bit, and as I've moved it or pulled it, this bit's been fine. The other side's then started going over at a funny angle, and it very almost seemed like the car was going to bloody come off this rotisserie, and it sketched me right out. So we're going to work on bracing between that side and that side to hopefully stop it wanting to not cooperate. Plan of action: chuck a bar in from this leg to that leg. I'm going to put a bigger bit of box section on here with a couple of bolts in the top. Shoot my length right the way through to the other side, where we'll do the same thing, and then that will pin the front and back end together. Hopefully not have any scenarios where the car is going to come off of this thing, because that spooked me out quite a bit, to be fair. That was a sketchy moment. Almost game over for this project. Right, let's get to it. We're all braced up and hopefully a little bit safer now. Obviously, as you would have seen, piece on the end with some pinch bolts, and on that end over there, and a length of tube in between. The length of tube in between has also got a sleeve with some pinch bolts on it, so I can fully separate this thing and still store it away when I'm finally at a point of this thing coming off of it. But yeah, I need to give a shout out to this little Parkside bandsaw thing. It's only from Lidl's, but it's a great little bit of kit, man. Get some decent blades for it and it kicks ass. With the standard blade, it's utterly crap. But now I'm kind of at a loose end. I don't really know what to get on with next. The spare wheel tub does need to come out at some point, so I'm sort of swaying towards making a brace. So I need to go from this point to that point and that point in some way, shape or form, because I'm worried when I take this spare wheel tub out, the chassis legs might move. I know it's highly unlikely, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a bit of tube to go in here, and then I'm going to diagonally brace from that point to that point, and then from that point to that point, and that should give it some rigidity. Just some know for damn sure that it's not going to move. So I'm going to try and dig out some tube from right over in that corner that is full of crap at the moment. Once I've got that out, I'll pick you back up and we'll start making this somehow. Unfortunately, I don't have a tube notching thing, so what I'm going to do is use a flat wheel on my grinder, and we're basically just going to try and grind out that so it sits onto the upstand piece that I need to butt it up against. Now, I'm hoping this is going to work out alright, but I've never done this before either, so how the hell are you meant to get that one parallel to that one? I'm yet to work out, but bear with me and hopefully we'll get this right. Alright, time for a lot of noise. Right, first attempt, not brilliant but not terrible. For whatever reason I thought that this pipe would lap over halfway across this pipe, but obviously it's the same size pipe, so that was never going to happen. It's only going to go a certain amount of the way over the pipe. So what I need to do is basically grind that back over that line, and then that should nestle in there. Hopefully this tube will still fit where I want it to. I did overcompensate on the length of this, knowing full well I'd probably cock it up. So hopefully it's still salvageable. Worst case I can use it on the other diagonal piece anyway. But right, I'm going to get back on with the grinder and we'll see if we can get this fit in that tube pucker. Alright, well, I'm going to have to work on this a little bit and get a better grasp of it if I'm hoping to make my own roll cage. I have eventually got there and it's looking pretty good, so I'm going to go with that and then hopefully I'll improve as I go further on. At the end of the day this is only a brace and I am learning, so yeah, I think that will do for that one. Let's go size it up in the car and hopefully it's not too short now. I think I might just about get away with this one. Should, in theory, work out just about right. I have got a bit of movement on these pieces I've bolted in, so I can always shimmy that down a little bit if I need to. So I'm going to mark this out where I need to notch it, back to the grinder, and hopefully we make this one work. It actually fits. I have got a little gap around there, but it's not too bad, to be fair. So I think what I'm going to do is tack this in place, and then we can move on to the bit from here to here, then from here to here, and then that'll be our cross brace done. Whoop whoop. Tube 1 in. Notches aren't 100%, but they're not far off, so I've obviously got some room for improvement on that. What I might do is get John to give me a crash course in tube notching, because obviously he's done that Starlight over there and most of the notches and welds on that are pretty good. Need to improve on my welding a little bit as well. I mean it don't look terrible, but there's definitely room for improvement on that. Yeah, next step then is going to be running that pipe in. I have just laid that across just so I've got an idea of where it needs to land on this pipe. So yeah, next job on the list is to cut that one down, and hopefully I'll get my notches a little bit better on that one. But we shall tackle that tomorrow. See you then. Well, I'm pretty stoked with that, folks. That is quite a nice little joint there. Could still take a little bit more out just to pull that over a tiny bit, but then I think that's going to throw this section out. This is only a brace, so bear that in mind. It don't need to be perfect. But again, all around there, although the shadow is making it look like there's a bigger gap than there is, looking pretty good. Right, I've just marked up my next tube, so I'm just going to lop the corner off just to make it a little less strenuous on the flap disc, and then I'll cut it down to length roughly. Same process again, and hopefully we'll get this one even tighter than that one. See what happens. Yes, dude, look at that. That has not come out too badly in the slightest. Pretty happy with that, I've got to admit. It's definitely easier doing this over next to the car with a grinder, then you can keep trying to piece it in and see where you're at with your notch and whatnot. But yeah, dead happy with that. That looks pretty good, man. Right, I'm gonna drink my coffee, and then we'll get the welder out, weld that in. And then we'll move on to taking this boot floor section out, which yeah, I'm really excited about that. Can you tell? Right, pick up in a minute. Right then, that bit is all done. Like I said before, definitely got room for improvement on my welding on tubes and whatnot. I just find it really hard to like get a consistent flow around the tube. So I definitely need to get a lot of practice in before I go making a roll cage. But yeah, not too bad. Right, anyway, before I go off on a tangent of waffle, what I'm going to do, flip the car over so we can get inside the boot, and then we'll figure out where we're going to be cutting to get rid of this spare wheel tub. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of down there and whatnot, but we shall see. Let's tip it over and then we'll work it all out. Look at that, sunny side up. It's looking good. Alright, plan of action for the boot then. Scribe down the side of that ruler, take out all those spot welds across the back there, and then back down this side. We'll leave the sides in place. They're still fixed to the chassis legs at the minute, and I don't really need to take that out. I only want to lose this, so yeah, we'll get that out. I won't be piecing anything back in just yet, because up the front here it's quite a small engine bay, and the engine actually sits quite far forward in the Audi, which it's not ideal for being in an Escort shell. Once I get an intercooler up the front there, I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to accommodate a rad as well. So for the time being, I'm going to leave that open just in case I need to rear mount a rad at the back, and then if that becomes the case, I can make the floor suit and hopefully work with a rad for airflow and whatnot. But we'll leave that for now until I've test fitted everything and we know where everything's going to fall. So yeah, right, anyway, I'm waffling again. Let's put you on tripod, get a time lapse on the go, get some tools out, make some noise. Let's do it. we've got a bloody great big hole in the back of my car now, people. Look at all that room for activities. With that all out of the way, I can now get to all the spot welds on this back panel. Obviously it's pretty well crusty and horrible anyway, but I do need to lose this because I need to get a diffuser out the back at some point later down the line. And now we've also got a good bit of access to this entire upper back piece. Need to decide what I'm doing about a boot latch, whether I'm keeping this standard one or if I'm just going to be using pins for the boot lid. But if I'm going to keep this, I'm going to have to do something with this plate here, whether I'll lop it off or something, I don't know. So that's something else I need to think about. But obviously now, with the spare wheel tub being out, my rear subframe points aren't linked. The initial plan for that was to just make a box to go up and join them back together. But I don't know if you can pick that up on there. It's actually at a slant. So with that in mind, my thoughts now are potentially run that down to there, pick up on this point here, and then the same again for that one up to that point. So it basically triangulates it, which I like to think would make that pretty strong myself. But drop a comment below and let us know what you think on that, because I'm not 100% decided on what direction to take with that just yet. Obviously the boot floor, like I said earlier, I might leave that for the time being because of the whole potential rear radiator mount situation. I don't know, we might just crack on and get it done just so I haven't got a dirty great big hole in the back of my car. But that is going to be for another episode. We are all out of time for this one. Now we won't be doing anything more on this for a little bit because I've got 3 months to crack on with another project. So this thing's going to be sitting on the wayside for a little bit. But don't take that as me giving up on it, because that is not the case. We just need to crack on with something else and get that done. But if you like the video, give it a like. If you haven't already, give us a sub, it certainly helps. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.